Hair policy in South African schools has once again come under the spotlight after an incident at LD Modalo High School in Mpumalanga. A teacher has been placed on precautionary suspension after she was captured on video forcefully cutting a pupil's braids in class. The province's Education Department spokesperson, Gerald Sambo, joins us now for more. A very good afternoon to you, Mr. Sambo. Thanks very much for your time. Do you have any further information to share with us as to what exactly led or to that clip we saw on video circulating on social media?
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to all the viewers of Newzroom Afrika. I think what we can indicate currently as a department is that as soon as we saw the video, we managed to commission our colleagues from the district labor section to quickly go into the space, but to highlight as a department, we do not condone the actions of the teacher in question who was seen on the video trying to cut the hair of the learner. Because if you look at the issue of hair policy, dress and grooming forms part of a school's code of conduct that is determined by the school's SGB together with the school. But there is no law that actually commands that learners need to, prepare their hair in a certain way. And the school of conduct of a particular school should also be in line with the South African Schools Act that actually protects the rights of both learners and the educators at the school. And the South African Schools Act is developed, from our constitution that is more vocal when it comes to issues around human rights. What we can indicate is that if the educator had seen that there is a wrongdoing on the side of the learner, there are corrective measures that need to be implemented, and such corrective measures are also in line with the school code of conduct, but not outside the South African Schools Act and the South African Constitution. That is why, as a department, we have seen that the teacher did not act in a professional way in which educators are expected to act, more especially in the school where they're supposed to put the needs of the learners first and make sure that the environment at the school level is conducive, because they know very well that should there be a wrongdoing on the side of a learner, they need to report that to the principal, and the principal will therefore inform the disciplinary committee, who will then call the parent of the learner in question to discuss the wrongdoing on the side of the learner, and also to impose sanctions that are actually applicable for that particular wrongdoing. And currently, our colleagues from labor were at the school today. They've started with the investigation, and we are waiting for the report that will actually indicate to us exactly what has happened that led to this said incident. But we also deployed our colleagues from wellness section to also render psychosocial support to the learner and the other learners who watch this ordeal happening in front of them. And we believe that our colleagues from labor will be able to dig deeper and indicate to us what has happened. And as soon as the report is available, we definitely make sure that we do indicate what are the actions that will be applicable to put corrective measures on the side of the educator.
Are you saying that the law or the rules are unambiguous on this one?
Pardon?
Are you saying the rules are unambiguous? And I'm asking this because there are people who say that hair that is over shoulder length should be tied up and no extensions are normally allowed.
Like I've indicated, that schools determine the code of conduct, and such code of conduct also take into account issues of dress and grooming. And should there has been a problem or in the manner in which the hair of the learner was prepared, the educator in question knows that you need to take corrective measures, but not to act in the manner in which he acted in this instance, because there are disciplinary measures. It's like, when it comes to issues of school uniform, the issues of school uniform are also, taken into account in the school code of conduct. And should there be learners who are not following such, there are disciplinary measures that need to be taken. And we cannot condone such an action from the educator, because we expect our educators to act in a very professional way. If you look at how she was handling the learner, we're holding a scissor in her hand, anything would have happened and the learner would have been injured, and it's going to be a very serious, a misconduct on the side of the educator. And hence we are saying that even if our learners are on the wrong, but schools know very well that there is a code of conduct that looks into issues of the conduct of the learners and making sure that there are corrective measures that needs to be implemented should there be a learner who conduct himself outside the school's code of conduct. And we are saying at the end of the day, we condone the actions, from the educator in question. However, the investigation will also indicate to us why the educator behaved in that particular fashion. And what we like to emphasize is the fact that we need to understand that educators, in terms of the Employment Act, they need to conduct themselves in a certain way, and they need to protect the learners at all times, and they need to follow the procedures that are put in the school code of conduct when there are learners who are actually not, behaving in line with the school code of conduct. And that is what the teacher has done now. It's not within the school of conduct. Hence we said, as a department, we're also going to look into the school code of conduct to see what it entails, because if it promotes such kind of actions, we need to make sure that we also correct that, because that should not be done in any way at a school level. There are other disciplinary measures that schools need to implement, but not to act in the way the educator has acted, like we've seen in the video.
And where there is evidence of wrongdoing on anyone's part, there will be consequences.
100%. And also on the side of learners, we need to appreciate that schools are run by policies. And these policies also clearly stipulate that should there be a learner who conduct himself, him or herself in a certain way, what kind of corrective measures you need to put in place to make sure that that is corrected. But that is not done outside the parents. Parents need to be notified. They need to be called in so that they are told that they are these certain or there is a wrongdoing on the side of their children, and what corrective measures need to be put in place, so that we also do not want to find our schools being in a problem where they will be accused of doing certain things outside the knowledge of the parents of the children. And we always encourage this as a department to say, let us continue to make sure that whenever there are instances where we need to put corrective measures, more especially as far as discipline is concerned, don't do that outside the knowledge of the parents. The parents need to be called in so that they are told about what is happening, and also notified about the corrective measures that the schools are going to implement to make sure that this such wrongdoing does not occur in the future. But our school code of conduct, the South African Schools Act, protect not only the learners, but both educators and learners at the school level. That's why even in this instance, should there be anything that says also the learner conducted herself in a manner that was not in line with the school code of conduct, there are some disciplinary measures that will be implemented by the school following the disciplinary measures that are enshrined in conduct.
Gerald Sambo, thank you very much. He's a spokesperson for the Mpumalanga Department of Education.